What's up, everyone? This is the Cali Crackers podcast, the inconsistent podcast. Today we have Davey Legend.
What's up?
As our guest, owner of Calvin Sunday Studios in downtown Reading. So, yeah.
Yes, sir. We here. We in it.
That's where we're going.
Yeah.
You have anything to say, no?
It's lit.
He's just in
It's up.
motion.
It's up. We're in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So what do you have to say to the people today, Dave?
I don't know, bro. Freaking big changes, big things, big stuff. Life's changing a lot of, at least in my world, but I think in a lot of other people's world, it's been a crazy year. And LA, we can't talk about LA. We can talk about anything. But I just think it's a crazy year in general, bro. There's a lot of shit happening in a lot of people's lives, but also in like the world, bro.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the last year that humanity actually survives this shit. Maybe next year it's like fucking Fallout.
So yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
everything's nuked and then we have the vaults and shit. Maybe that's what happens next year.
That's what I'm fucking thinking. It's either like next year it's gonna be amazing or it's gonna be fucking terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I think that regardless, I don't think it'll be amazing yet. I think it'll take time to get amazing.
Yeah.
Or it'll be really fast to get shitty. So I think next year will still be like a healing process from all the fucked up shit that happened this year. We can cuss on this podcast, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, man. I'm like, oh. But yeah, I don't know. It's a crazy fucking year. Who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows what is happening? So yeah.
It's like the way I see it, it's like an analogy of birth, right? Like when it's like it's like giving birth, like it's super painful, right? It's like the aftermath. It's like, you know, there's a healing process, but like it's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's life in general. It's with anything. It's all about rebirth, growth, and growth is always painful, dude. Growing pains. You gotta get hit, fucking get punched, and then you gotta heal from it, dude. And I think emotionally and relationally, that's where everyone's going through. It's like everything falls to shit, and then you come to like the come to Jesus moment where you're just like, man, what the fuck's been going on in my life? And then you made the decision to get better then, but it doesn't mean it's gonna instantly get better. You still gotta go through and fix all the shit and repair all the damaged relationships or damaged feelings or whatever, and that takes time. I think that, and on a larger scale, that's how it's going to be on the world scale, the world stage, but then also just relationally and I think on every level, that's just where the world's at. So,
what do you think, like, your part to play in that is? Like, as a studio owner, as a business owner, artist, like.
I think that my role to play in it is, I think a lot of people get too caught up in the whole world and like the huge bigger picture, and they get caught up in like, I need to change this, and like they get caught up on all these things that they can't really affect. I used to be super into politics and super into all that stuff and everything happening on like a large scale, but then I didn't like the person that it made me, because it's like, why am I spending all this mental energy on something that I literally have zero control over, and all that I'm left with, and like the fruits of me even like thinking like that and being invested in that is just me being extremely negative and thinking about other people negatively. So I focus on like what I can control, which is the people around me and people that I interact with, and then what I put out into the world, and that's it. So that's what like role I play in it. I would love to make a change on like a big scale, but I think that starts on a very small scale, and so I need to just make a change in like the people that I talk to and how I treat them, how I run the company, like all that stuff is how I affect the world, and it's just affecting this tiny little corner of the world, but maybe one day it affects more. But I think that if everybody focuses just on that rather than this the whole big grand scheme of everything, I think the world would be a lot better place. Because you can't affect like global politics, but you can if you affect your town. And if 100 people from each city affect the people around them, in the way that they believe the world should run, then the world will run that way, because every little place will add up. But focusing on the big thing is like, you're not doing anything other than just getting upset. And maybe that's like, we get into like conspiracy theories, but maybe that's like the whole point. I mean, that's like what they want, all the divisiveness. There's just so much hate on either side.
Well, and it's like you got an answer for everything every time you open up your wallet.
Yeah.
This, that, or because of this, and no, they did that.
Yep. Yep. 100%, dude. It's super wacky, but
I know what you mean. It's like they say change starts with a mirror in the mirror type of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Well, it starts in yourself, and then after yourself, which you'll spend the rest of your life working on yourself, right?
Mhm.
But after yourself, then yeah, it's who you interact with.
Do you think there's add to that note? Do you have anything to add to what he was just saying?
I mean, I feel like the same way, but like I'm still in that same loop. That, like everything, like it's not like quite simplified down enough. Like you still talk about it, but you've simplified it down enough to yourself that like you just got an answer for everything, and so like you just in a way that I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
So don't think about it.
100%.
It's wasted energy.
Yeah. It's kind of like blissfully ignorant, but I guess that's one way to think about it.
Mhm.
But I don't really think of it as ignorance, because it's not ignorant. Like I'm still aware of what's going on outside, but I'm just not hyper fixated on it. You know? And I think that that's like the one thing is like everyone's like, there's all these people that are always posting everything, blah, blah, blah. Like, posting isn't going to do shit. Posting
Yeah.
isn't going to do fucking jack shit. Awareness. I don't think awareness is bad, but it's just like, what is, at the end of the day, what is awareness going to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think it really does anything. I think it's like the real change and where our time is best invested is in what our day to day and the things that we can interact with, and that's it. You know?
Yeah, it's like you see these like these rappers like Tom McDonald or something like that, or like, and like it's cool talking about it, but like what are people doing? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
type of thing. Like, and like you said, like you can only do what you can do.
Yeah.
So I know
Exactly.
what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's easy to, I feel like it's good to talk about it by like addressing philosophies that you feel like support the problems that are part of like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're not necessarily even directly talking about this or that, because then it's like a hot talk, it's like a buzzwords type of shit, and like it plays with people's opinions too much. It's more like just playing on the philosophy that's initially supporting those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that the way that I've decided to live is just purely by example, because trying to like, I think that's the only way that we're really effective at all. I never, like maybe once or twice I've ever like changed my, I only ever listen to the words that someone says if I respect that person, and if I've built that respect and I trust that person. Otherwise, like if someone's telling me to do something or telling me to believe something, I'm not going to believe it. You know, I believe, like, I will change and want to be more like someone or adapt their philosophy based on like how they interact with me. Like I think a great example of that is like the first person that I entered for at Bethel. His name's Luke Hendrickson.
Yeah.
I interned for him for 2 years, and he was like the best mentor I've ever had. And he never pushed anything on me. He never said, this is the way that things have to be, or live your life like me, blah, blah, blah. But like just the way that he was so amazing, and just so perfect. The way he treated me, the way he treated his wife, the way he treated his family, and the people working around him. I was just like, that is how I want to be. And so that's how I want to be myself. Like when I'm training people, or any situation that I'm in, it's like I want to be just so infectious as a person, and I want the things that I believe in to be so strong and so infectious that other people around me can't help but adopt those same philosophies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the way to do it, because everyone's always trying to tell you and shove words in your throat. Like, you have to believe this. It's like, bro, nobody learns like that. Nobody changes like that. People change. It's like Inception. Like, they have to plant the idea inside of the guy's head as if he came up with it himself. That's exactly how it works in the rest of our life. It's like, people want to feel like they made the decision themselves and they came to that conclusion themselves, because it's much more powerful than if they feel like they're living on somebody else's philosophy. They have to feel like it's their philosophy. Because, I mean, everybody, if you're going to base your life around something, you have to feel like it's your own. So you have to be convinced that it's your own. And, I mean, make somebody else's philosophy your own, you know?
That's like, it's like Jesus. Like, he touched the heart, you know what I'm saying? And the most, you know, important people in history, they touch the heart with what they say.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you said, shoving it down their throats isn't gonna do shit. It's not gonna, you know, make them happy with what you're saying, you know, and it's certainly not gonna change it, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So how did you? So I understand, like, you were like around my age when you started making music, like 15, 14 years old. Like, how did you start? Like, what was your inspiration to start making music and eventually like start a business? You know what I mean?
To start music, I just needed a way to process my emotions. The first song I ever wrote was a song to my mom because we were fighting or something, and I like didn't know how to process my emotions, so I just like wrote the song. Like a really short like song that was like first chorus or something.
You know what it was called?
No. I probably had it somewhere. I think I saved like the note. I saved most of my notes. Like, I have like just boxes of like old songs I wrote. Somewhere in there. But yeah, that was the first time I wrote music, and then I was like, man, I like doing this. My mom I grew up always playing like tons of instruments, like violin, piano, and then like I was in like orchestra and stuff. I was in like the Shasta College Orchestra playing violin, and then I ended up one day I learned how to play a song by Bastille on piano. I learned the chords because I was playing classical stuff and all this stuff that I didn't really want to learn because I was listening to like pop music and stuff. And then one day I learned how to play like Bastille, and I played the chords, and I was singing along to it, and I was like, this is super cool. And taught myself guitar after that. My mom got me voice lessons because my voice sucked.
Yeah.
And then I got a lot better after a couple of years. And I just grinded, dude. It wasn't like a conscious thought. It was just like, this is what I want to do. This is what I love doing. And it's like, for me, it's like I can do two things. There's like two things that I love doing, and it's like video games are like my brain dead. Like, I can get locked into a video game for like forever and just zone out. Or music is also like the same thing. When I'm like in the computer, it's like that same level of like fun and locked in, and like I just get lost in it. It scratches like the same itch for me. So yeah, dude, it just kind of happened. And then to start my own business, I never really initially wanted to. I mean, my goal was always just to make my own music. But
Get signed.
Get signed. I mean, I don't even know. I was just like, I just want to make music. I wasn't even thinking that far. Like, I want to get signed and stuff. I was just like, I just want to make music and get somewhere and make people hear it. So I had like a manager, did all that stuff. We didn't know what we were doing at all, but that's like kind of what you want. And then I met Travi, and then he started a company, and I was like, oh, I'll help, like join the company just as an engineer, because I was just good at that, and I was like extra money, and I was surrounded by artists. So I was like, I just want more of a community. So did that, and then one day the co-owner of the company left and was like, I'm out. You can have my half of the company.
X3.
Yeah, X3, and then I said sure. And I went and talked to Trav, and I was like, hey, he just left and said I could have the half. Like, I just want to make sure that's cool with you. Is that okay with you? Like, I'll take on half the responsibility, which means, half the rent and all that. And he was like, yeah, I mean, I can't afford it myself at this point. Like, let's do it. I mean, you've been here this whole time. You helped me put it together. Like, let's try it. So then that was my first time ever kind of owning anything, and that was like the test run, dude. And we did that for like 2.5, 3 years, and it was amazing. I learned so much, had so many failures, had so many successes, did a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Some of the best times of my life, honestly. It was just very like, that was where I was like truly devoted to like by any means necessary. Going down to LA every single month with no money. I mean, like, my bank account was hitting zero all the time. Literally all the time it was like $0. I would go down to LA with only $150. And, you know, 50 of that would be the gas to get down there, splitting the Trav, and then the rest of it was me eating stuff for like $8 a day, or probably $8 each meal to like just get stuff from a grocery store and eat it. And then, you know, no money for hotels, so we'd crash on people's couches, and we'd go to like a small indie show, and then I'd meet the artist and be like, hey, can I trade recording to sleep on your couch? Like, I'll record you guys and produce for you guys if you let me sleep on your couch for free. And they were like, bet. So I mean, it was a bunch of stuff like that. And then I think partnerships in general, I don't think it definitely is about the individuals, but I think partnerships in general are just kind of doomed to fail. Especially if you're both invested in it, it's just kind of doomed to fail. So that went its course, got really ugly, got really just toxic, and I eventually left that company. And then when I left that company, I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought I wanted to start a music collective. That wasn't a company, it was more of just like a group of artists all working together. But that quickly turned out to just be not the move. Because it's just like, I guess communism isn't the right word, but it's kind of like the communism socialist mindset, where it's like, oh, maybe it's not even that, it's like a cult mindset, where it's like, oh, everyone's gonna get along, everyone's gonna put in equal effort, and we're all gonna grind, and we're all gonna work, and like there's no money in it really, like we're all just gonna do it, we're gonna split the money's gonna go back into it. It's just never works, and it didn't work.
Especially with rappers.
Yeah, and you have, I think, at least, and maybe this is me just in this season of thinking, and I could totally prove myself wrong or be proven wrong later on, but I'm like, that just never works. So stopped doing that, and evolved that into Calvin Sunday, because it was called Calvin Sunday at first, and that was the music collective. And then about 6-7 months in, everything was falling apart. Everything was taking off and falling apart at the same time. We just done our first show, we did extremely well. We just went down to LA, did a bunch of sessions. I worked with Brockhampton. All this stuff was happening, and we got our first studio space because it was all just ran out of the house that I was living at. And as we got the studio space and everything fell apart inside of the group. And I decided, I was like, I need to just run this like a business, and I just need to be the one in charge. Screw this whole democracy, everybody has to agree on everything, because that just, what happens is no one can agree on anything. Like, everyone feels some kind of way, and then there was a bunch of, just people just talking behind people's backs, and like all this just relational stuff that sucked. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be in charge, I'm gonna run the thing, it's my company, but I still want to keep a lot of the core of like everybody's involved and everybody's doing something, but I needed not to rest on everybody, and I can't let everybody hold it back. It needs to move at like the pace that I want it to move at, and I need to trust and believe that I know what's best for it, and I need to be able to support myself from it without letting anything else be able to fuck that up or come into it. And so then we started Calvin Sunday, and it just evolved over that first year. We kind of figured out how things are going to work. We were all recovering from the damage and the pain of the group, the like collective kind of falling apart. And we were a new company in Reading, and we did a bunch of stuff that first year, a ton. I remember that first year I worked more than 12 hours a day, every single day, even on weekends on the studio. I would go there in the morning and then be there till the same exact time at night. And I'd be grinding the entire time, because it was like, I have to make this work. And it did work. It worked really, really well. I mean, every single month, the money got a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. More people hopped on, and then we had to keep on making creative ideas. I mean, in a city where there isn't a music scene and there isn't any infrastructure for music, and on top of that, there's no infrastructure for young people, so there's nowhere that young people go and hang out. There's no like the spot or the place or like the beach or like anything, like
the movie type of thing.
I mean, but most towns actually have that, but Reading doesn't. And so we had to come up with super creative ideas. I mean, we were doing shows every single month. I was putting together lineups every single month I was creating the graphics myself. I was figuring out how can I throw a show and rent gear without spending any money. And I was just doing everything on favors, figuring all this stuff out, and it worked. And yeah, and then on top of that, I was trying to grow myself. I was trying to grow the team, and I was working a lot on trying to just mix better, be a better engineer, produce better, and I think it all paid off. And like now we're here. You know, we moved buildings 2 different times. I got into another partnership, which was so stupid, but I got into another partnership, which was a bad idea. Took our company through that, and I feel like that was one of my big failures of like the past year. Was like I made the decision to do that and to go there, and I told the team this is what we're gonna do, and they all trusted me. Even though some of them had reservations, they all trusted me. They were like, "This is what we're gonna do," and then we did it. And very quickly, over like 3 months, things just got really, really bad. Not inside the team. The team was amazing, but in the partnership. And eventually, it led to me just being like, I gotta get out of here. And then, you know, that day sucked because I basically had to call the team. And it's like I was like, it's an emergency. I need everyone to get here. We need to get all of our stuff out today. And I remember sitting at the park after we left that location, and we didn't have a new location. We had nothing set in stone. I made that decision that day. I was just like, we have to get out. And I remember sitting there at the park and just being like, damn, like I really failed everybody because now we're here with nothing. Thank God everything worked out. Now we're here in this amazing space. This is the best space, ever. I couldn't ask for a better studio space. I don't think there is one in Reading.
Yeah.
Bunker music, dude. Yeah, we got the bunker. But yeah, dude, I mean, I've been super happy doing it, and I think that I learned so much. I learned so much that I think can be applied to everything. I think everyone should start a company.
Yeah.
If you have something you're good at and if you're passionate about something, you learn so much, and you also learn how to value yourself. Because most people in the world, but in America too, work hourly jobs for somebody else. And I think it's so important to be in the position of a leader and the owner, even if it fails. Because then you always have that perspective, and then you're always gonna know what you're worth, and it's gonna be much harder for you to get taken advantage of because you have that perspective now. And like for me, it's like I feel like I can see it's like I've taken back the veil and I can like decode the whole world. Like anytime I see because now I know marketing, I know scheduling, I know hiring, I know like budgets, assets,
running a business pretty much.
I mean, yeah, like all those different things. And specifically marketing, I think I know like the most about. But now when I'm walking around and looking at companies or looking at different things, I feel like I can decode it and I understand why they're doing it. And then I also can go into like situations, and if I feel like I want something, I know what kind of leverage I'm going to need that's actually going to be valuable to them to make it happen. So yeah, that's the long Davey answer.
Nah, bro, I fuck with that one hella.
Yeah,
I fuck with that. I mean, that story is fucking inspiring. But do you feel like I was gonna say something about like entrepreneurship, and you said everyone should run something, like be a leader of a company or business or something like that.
Yeah.
I heard you told me that you dropped out of college. I mean, not college, but Shasta College, the business degree, because you were just like, fuck this, I'm gonna just start my business and learn from that. Do you feel like dropping out of college or learning it from just starting a business helped you, or I feel like that's the fun thing about college. Like they just give you all the information and try to prepare you so much, but like failure's the best teacher. Like you said with X3, you had so many failures and so many wins.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I just suck at taking. I just don't learn the same way that most people learn, bro. I cannot take in information by just being told it.
Yeah.
I learn by like hands-on doing stuff, and so I never had great grades. I never had great grades. I never had bad grades, but I always had such a hard time studying and getting stuff done. I was doing fine in college, but I wasn't learning anything. I was learning about like macroeconomics and like the economy and like all these different formulas and like statistics, and I was pretty good at math, but I don't know. I was just like, bro, this isn't. I'm like doing this and I'm passing the test, but like I don't feel like I've learned anything about starting a business. And honestly, I've used zero of what I learned in college in doing a business. I was studying, I was like in a business major, and I was like, this sucks. I'm just gonna go start one. Well, I didn't actually leave with that in mind, but I was like, this just sucks. I left, and then I happened to join onto X3, and then ended up owning one, and then I learned so much more just doing that I really don't think that college could have taught me. I think that most things, and this is maybe political, this isn't meant to be political, I just think most things you don't need to go to college for. I feel like you learn so much better just by doing it and trying to get like an internship or anything that you can just get your hands on it. You'll learn so much more. Force yourself into a situation. I feel like under pressure, as humans, we always surprise ourselves and can accomplish so much more when we put ourselves in a position that we're not even ready for.
Goggins.
Yeah, it's like some Goggins stuff. But I do think like there's some things where like you have to go to college. Like anything that's like a STEM, like science, technology,
being a fucking doctor,
medical. Yeah, you have to go to college for that.
Yeah.
But for some of the other stuff, I'm sure there are some people that I'm sure do learn a lot and can take in information that way. So I'm not trying to say like college is worthless.
Yeah.
But for me and the type of person that I am, it's worthless for me because I can't retain the information like that. I have to be hands-on and I have to learn it like that. So.
Well, it's like my comment about you being an entrepreneur. Like, there are certain people that just can't do that because they can't be told something. They always gotta figure out why. They always gotta figure out the how.
Yeah.
And I feel like college or school in general just teaches you to be like, oh, this is it. But like people with that entrepreneurial mindset, you think of Trump or Musk or Bezos, like people, they're different. They gotta just be like why and how. And I feel like taking action for them is more like the feeling of I did it myself. I learned this. That's the entrepreneurial mindset.
Too, I feel like it's if you know your product better than you know how to start a business. Like if you just generally kind of get it as you go, like you know the product enough to do all those things better.
Yeah, knowing the product is massive, and I think like you are the first thing is like you are the product first and foremost, and so you have to sell yourself because even if you're selling Scrub Daddy Little Scrubs, the whole reason that he even got signed on Shark Tank, he's like a huge company, is because he sold himself. Like him as a individual is what was infectious, and then helped build the trust in the actual product. But yeah, like product is first and foremost. If your company's gonna fail if your product sucks.
Yeah.
And you don't know everything about it. But I think also on top of that, you are the product. You know everything about yourself, and be super put together. But the process can also put you together. So I think it's bad.
Okay,
Cool.
We're back in.
Locked in, loaded.
Locked in, loaded.
So yeah, business, entrepreneur.
Business.
Yeah.
What is like one thing? People always say this, like things you would have done differently, but like, why would you do it differently if you're here right now? Type of thing. But like, what is like you made it successful here? But like, what is one thing you would have done differently? Or a couple things, whatever you want to say.
Man, I don't know if I would do anything differently. I mean, because if I did it differently, then a lot of, like, I could have said that I would have done a lot of relational stuff differently, but then I wouldn't have learned the lesson of what happens when you don't, and it all falls apart. So, I wouldn't have done anything different. I think that all this stuff has built who I am today, and the knowledge that I have today, and the pain has built who I am today, and has left me with a lot more wisdom than if I didn't make so many mistakes. And so, yeah, I mean, I think we're like the sum of all our mistakes rather than like the sum of all our successes, because you don't learn anything from succeeding, really. You just you're just getting affirmed for something that you did. A failure, you're like getting punished for something that you did, and you have to learn to try, and then you have to try to fix it and repair it, and then and then consciously you have to decide not to make that mistake again. And so if I didn't make any of the mistakes or errors, I wouldn't have that knowledge. So, and I feel like I have a lot of knowledge now because I made a lot of mistakes. So I wouldn't do anything differently probably.
You were making the comparison earlier between like the games and the music, and I was thinking like, you know, when you're playing the game and like you just like giving each other a hard time, or like it's just like those days where you're just grinding away type shit, and you just fucking some dumb shit like that, like when you're messing with the beat and you get that feeling it gets to me sometimes, but like it's when it gets to Joseph, like it never affects me.
Yeah.
Because I'm always just like, that's how I know it's going.
Yeah.
Facts. When you reach that point, it's actually like relieving when you go back to it.
What do you?
Yeah.
You mean just trying to like fucking record that verse over and over again or something like that?
And recording the same fucking line for an hour.
Yeah. No, you get lost in it, bro. If it's your passion, you love doing it, then it's the best thing ever. You know, it's like playing video games for me. Video games are like my escape and like my relaxing thing, and like music is the exact same thing, if not more. Music's more rewarding. Beating a video game is honestly actually not rewarding for me because then it's like fuck, it's over, and I was like having so much fun.
Yeah.
But a song, like completing a song, is so rewarding because then you get in the car right after and you listen to it and you're just like fuck, you just play it over and over again, and then you know performing it and like the song lives on forever, and that's just so much more rewarding than you know being a video game. But it's I think it's comparable, at least in my life, to playing video games. It's just how locked in I get. Yeah.
And it's like every next song is like the next chapter, and it's like for you until you die, like, and even then, like if you die, you're just not there, so it's just going on forever.
Right. Yep. Exactly. And it sticks around, dude, and it's yours entirely. Like a video game, like your character is yours, and like the path that you choose to take.
And your skin.
Yeah, like all those things are yours, but somebody else could have done the exact same thing in the exact same order as you. But in music, it's not like that. You know, no one else could make the same thing as you.
That's why I started producing or making my own beats, because I just hated like using people's beats. You know, I wanted it to be like completely original version like that I did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
mean it's like your own creation.
Yeah.
And like you love the video game thing. Like I feel like this really deeply. Like you find that sample, and you're like, well, I can work with this shit. And then you start building. You put the drums in, you put the 808 in, and it's just like it builds up. It's like a fucking video game. It's like.
Yeah. No, 100% it is, dude. It's all levels, bro.
Yeah.
Gotta be the final boss.
What's the final boss for you?
Chorus, bro. The chorus.
Fuck.
It depends. It changes every song. Every song is a final boss. Chorus, I think, is most of the time that's the final boss. Sometimes it's the production, sometimes it's the drums, sometimes it's the verse, sometimes it's the intro, sometimes it's the outro. Yeah. Whatever the hardest fucking part of making the song is and completing it, that's the final boss.
Well, it depends how like the structure of the song leads you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
I have a hard time doing choruses.
Choruses are the most difficult because they're the most important. And you want every chorus to be good because the infectious part of the song that most people remember. And so being able to create a good chorus every time is like insane. The way your brain has to work to be able to make a good chorus every time. But I think that's everybody, bro, because that's the most important part of the song. So.
Yeah.
I don't think like half of our songs don't have a chorus.
Yeah.
It's just
that's kind of you gotta fucking change that.
Yeah, I'd say it's cool to have like in a track list like 2 songs on an album max that don't have choruses. Everything else I feel like needs some kind of chorus type thing. I mean, I think hook is a lot better word than chorus because hook can be even just a phrase. Yeah, it hooks you. Yeah, exactly.
So like that's it's like a new thing. That's like it's important nowadays, especially to have a hook. And like, how has it been like fucking watching the evolution of music since when you were my age to you're 24 now? Like, how has it been watching that? Because it's fucking changed. held with the past few years?
Yeah.
8 years.
I don't know, dude. I think it's been interesting. It hasn't changed a whole lot, and it also has. When hyperpop came out, that was like my favorite thing, because that was like a huge growth. It felt like we were doing, the 2010s, and then like the 2016 rap was going on for so long, and it was just a lot of great songs, but not a lot of like movement forward. And then hyperpop came out, and hyperpop was like just insane. It was like maximalist production, clipping on purpose, and just like all these insane sounds and techniques that nobody had really used before. And it was sick to see, and that was awesome, but it died really fast. It stuck around for like 1 year really strong, and then it died the second year.
What year is that?
2021, or end of 2020 and then first half of 2021 it was big, and then it died completely off in like 2022, and it's still around, but now it's back to like a huge subgenre.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's really too excited about it anymore. I don't know where music's going. I think that music needs a big shift, and it needs like, what's that next big genre? Because like right now it's like kind of country, but I think that was also just a tiny phase. I think country's still like forever, but it's not like the next thing.
Yeah.
I don't know where music's gonna go. I think with like Dolby Atmos, you know what Dolby Atmos is?
I've heard of it.
So it's like the new way of mixing, and the new way that we're going to listen to music and intake music. Because AirPods have it now, and some of the Apple stuff, and then cars are going to have it. Most headphones are going to have it, and it's basically 360 audio. It's like when you're in a movie theater, they have 360 audio. Like you can hear like a car come like in the movie theater from the back of the theater to the front, and it like goes past you, and they have like shots from behind you and all this different stuff because they have speakers everywhere. So now they want to do that with music, and they started doing that with music. So now when you go and master a song, they have it mastered, like the top artists get it mastered in Dolby Atmos, which is like 360 sound in space and like up and down. So you can actually take elements of your song, and they could be like below you, behind you, in front of you. Because music so far, music so far was mono up until like the 60s. And then around the time of the Beatles, they started experimenting with stereo.
Yeah.
So then it went from just one sound to left and right and everything in between. And that's where we've been since the 60s, is playing around with that kind of sound, like left and right and middle. But that's not all that we can hear as humans. It's like we can also hear in front, behind, below, and above. So I think that now that we have the technology to do stuff like that, I think that there is room and space for massive innovation to make a completely new sound. Because the way that we produce can be completely different, dude. Being able to produce and like, instead of just thinking, oh, I want the kick in the middle, it's like, no, I want the kick like below me, and I want this above me, and I want to put something over here. Like being able to create a song in like 3D space is so sick. So I think that I don't think that there's been a lot of evolution and growth since like 2015, like production wise. There's been a lot like of different songwriting wise and styles, but really like the sound of music, it's kind of hard for me to hear
The sonics.
the difference. Like you can, if you listen to the 90s, you can like tell it was produced in the 90s. If you listen to the 80s, you can tell it was produced in the 80s. But from like 2010 to now, like the only difference is maybe there's just more 808s and stuff. But a lot of the same sounds and textures were used in like 2010, 2011 that are being used now. Except for in rap, but other than that, I mean,
Not much has changed.
not like not a lot. A lot has changed, but a lot of small things, and it hasn't been like a whole new genre, new sound. Like this is the 2020s, you know?
Yeah. And you feel like rap is dying, you said?
I feel like rap's been dying for a long time. It doesn't have to die, but there was so much innovation in rap from like 2014 to 2019 or whenever like Juice WRLD died. I'd say when Juice WRLD died was like, I mean actually before that, when Juice WRLD was pop like at its peak, I think is when rap died, because there was so much innovation. Rap went through so many different changes. It went super melodic. It went all these different directions. It went super screamo. It did everything, and then Juice WRLD comes around and he's created like the best of it. And I don't he's not my favorite rapper. I don't think he's the best rapper, but he was making like the objectively like best rap music where it's like amazing lyrics. He can rap really well. He can sing extremely well. He can come up with the catchiest stuff, and he's like destroying all the charts, destroying all the touring.
Yeah.
Like he's on the top of absolutely everything. It's like peak rap right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like rap music is the top genre because of Juice WRLD, because he's making songs that were just all of them were hits, like everything, and you just pump them out. And because of that, rap came to the forefront, and then it got oversaturated, and then there was no innovation or anything new on a big enough scale to keep moving it forward. So ever since then, it's kind of been like dead, because it's like, where do you go from there? You know, like we heard it all before.
What's next Juice WRLD type of thing?
No, because you don't even want a next Juice. That's the thing. Is like there were a million the next Juice WRLDs.
Yeah.
We don't. That's exactly the point. Is like now that we had Juice WRLD, it's like you don't need another Juice WRLD. We need something completely different, and we need innovation.
Next
something
Kanye.
that sounds different. Yeah, I mean, like the next Kanye, like something that'll really blow it out of the water and do shit that no one's thought of, and no one's done that yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of great rappers, a lot of great albums, but none of them have been groundbreaking and like super left field and move things crazy forward.
Mm-hmm.
They're honestly, in the past like 5 years, it feels like there hasn't been that many new artists. In like 2016, bro, there were so many. Like that XXL freshman cypher was
That was
still
fucking good, dude.
It's really good. It's probably the best one ever. But we're still, those artists that were on that cypher are still our top artists today. And like everything since then, like no one's stuck around. Those, like, we're still stuck on 2016 rap.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is like the main thing that like shows like where rap is at. Those are still like the GOATs, and those are still like the top people, and they're still making the top albums. And they have been new. Like I think Lil Durk is newer, but it's nothing groundbreaking. They've just been added to the roster. None of them are at the top.
Well, and I feel like too, like there's some people that are like old enough that have been in there, like the game long enough. They're kind of like just at a sellout point where it's like, oh, release like a couple singles here and there.
Well, yeah, because there's nothing that excites them either. You know, they haven't been able to find the innovation and the inspiration inside of themselves to make something new. So it's like, what else can you do other than just like keep dropping shit for the people that want to hear the same kind of thing?
For sure, yeah.
So
I feel like a lot of them still make music, but they don't do it publicly. You know what I'm saying? Or just like on a mainstream level. Like a lot of like the older artists, like I'm thinking of like 90s artists, or like, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I can't imagine making music as a career, then blowing up, and then just stopping. But I could see not releasing for sure, because there's just so much that goes into it once you know how much goes into it, and once you do it on a big level, it's a headache. It's a lot of work.
And especially if you're trying to do it independently, because it's fucking hard independently. You know, that's what like has gotten a lot of. Like you study the music, the history of the music industry, and like a lot of them didn't want to do the business aspect of it.
That's why labels are great, because you don't actually have to run it. Everyone's always talking about like, oh, don't sign, I'll do this independently. It's like, that's great, but like that means that you have to be the label for yourself, and so you're going to end up making a bit more money, but you're also going to end up paying a lot more, because you've got to basically create that whole infrastructure just for you. And there's benefits to it, because you get to tailor whatever you create exactly to what you need, which a label doesn't do that necessarily, because they're doing it for a ton of different artists. But yeah, it's all give and take, bro. All pluses and minuses, positives and negatives. So,
do you feel like signing to a label? I don't know. I've studied a lot about major labels. That's what I'm thinking of, like major labels. Like, do you think that's bad for an artist, or do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it depends on what's right for you. I don't know. I would probably end up signing to a label. I've talked to a bunch of labels. I've had A&Rs reach out to me from a lot of the major labels, and I would do it. I mean, I think that for me it makes sense, because I don't want to do the whole running a business on that scale thing.
All the time. Yeah.
It's already going to be so stressful and so much work just to be the artist. in a label, I think will fit my needs. It's kind of, the industry's in a weird place where like people don't really know if labels are even going to really stick around. I think that they will. I just think that they're just going to kind of reform and kind of go back to what, be pushed back a lot in a good way, because they'll be kind of held accountable to just do and charge for what they actually do. But I don't know, I'll probably end up signing. I'll probably do it. I think it makes the most sense for me. It just depends, dude. I think the biggest mistake is people sign too early, and I think it's probably better to sign late than early, because it's just a business deal, and in this case you're the actual product and your music is the product, so you should wait to sign for when you have the most traction and the most value, and then sign, and only sign if you think that that's going to get you more traction and the resources you need to get even bigger. But you don't want to sign too early when you kind of have traction, you got enough for them to be willing to invest. You should wait a little bit to get more traction to where you're really worth it, you can get a better deal out of it, and then maybe you have some more experience. And
they're just going to trust you to steer.
Huh?
You think they'll just trust you to steer?
No, because it's more like you're just worth more, so you could get a better deal.
Your value.
And get more money. Yeah, your value. Like the product has proven that it's worth more. You have proven that you're worth more, and so you're worth more money. And
it's interesting.
Then you have more leverage and all that stuff. Yeah, and I guess they could probably trust you more. They trust your team more as well, because sometimes maybe you could sign if you sign really early on because they just believe in you. They could fire half your team or just not trust half your team because they're like, your team hasn't proven that they've done anything. And our team and our label has made these many songs blow up. So like, why are we trusting your team over ours? Like ours have more experience. Whereas like if you sign later on, you're like, we already did this. We already sold out this many shows. We have these many hit songs, and we did it all with our team. They'll sign you on and be like, we don't want to change anything. Your team is working. Let's just double down on your team. And that's better, I think. But again, this hasn't happened to me, so this is just an opinion of a guy who kind of knows but doesn't really.
Yeah.
Just opinions.
Have you ever vaulted a song and then like just through like just life experience or like changes in the world or like nationally, like it just lines up all of a sudden, like you think back to that song and the more you get this thing in mind, like the world.
Yeah, that happened recently. I just went to New York for a week to work on my album with my manager, and we did so many songs, like 1 to 2 songs a day for like the whole 2 weeks I was there, just finishing up stuff, getting the album ready. And then on the flight back, at the end of the trip, I'm going through my phone, just going through like old audio files, just trying to find demos I forgot about. And I found this one song called Neverlasting. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And I said it to Kurt, and he's like, bro, he's like, this goes on the album too. And that's the song from 5-6 years ago.
I love that shit.
An old song. And listening back, I was like, this is actually a banger. And I really, like, it fits the whole tone of this album. So it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how that shit works out from, like, the past. I mean, it's, like, perfect for the moment right now. And it wasn't right for the moment back then. So.
That's why I wish we go to the long music.
Really?
You wish we did?
Yeah, like, I don't know. I'm always picky about, like, just put it out on SoundCloud. It doesn't matter. Like, just put it out on SoundCloud so it's perfect. And then if it's good, like, we'll put it on other stuff. But, like at the same time, like,
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like both ways of thinking and doing work. You can drop on SoundCloud all the time and just be super unprotected about it and just flood it and try to get the algorithm up, and that can totally work. You can just give your fans more. Or you can vault and be very meticulous about everything that you drop and have a plan and make sure that everything you do is like 100%
Marketing
perfect.
plan.
Yeah. There's cases to be made for both. Both have worked for different artists at different times, so it just depends.
I feel like that with like beats, like you're just like, oh, what is this project? It says like project 30 or something like that. It's like you just go into it and it's like oh, this is a cool sample. I didn't finish the beat though, but it's a cool sample. And
Yeah.
then they build it up, and it's like you got a good beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I like that shit a lot.
Yep.
But I wanted to get into you're going to LA.
Yeah.
You're moving from Reading over to LA.
Yes, I
Being in
am.
the studio with 4G and
Yep.
all of us, and you're going over to LA to start California Sunday in Los Angeles. So
Yes, sir.
you want to go and dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm moving, dude. I just feel like I've said it so many times,
Yeah.
but I haven't said it to the podcast. But I feel like I grew so much here and did so much, and now I have this studio, which is something that younger me at any point in my life up until now would have been like, this is amazing. Like, this, I would be so happy if I had this. Now that I have this, I'm happy that I have it.
Yeah.
But I'm not in a place where I'm like, okay, cool, I just want to like chill now. I have it. It's like I'm still so hungry for more, and I think I just kind of sat down and realistically, I don't think that there is more for me here. I don't think I can grow more here. This is like the biggest studio here. I think we're arguably the busiest studio here. We've done tours, we've done shows, so many, more than one a month for the past like 2 years. I've met like every artist here. I'm sure that there's more that I haven't met, but few.
Yeah.
You know, I know like almost everybody in this town, and I grew up here. So I just want. It doesn't even have to be LA. I just need to go somewhere where I can grow. I want to learn more, dude. I don't think that I know everything. I really don't. I may talk like it sometimes, but I really don't. I just know my experience, and it's time for me to get more experiences. So hopefully, I can know some more. And
Out of the comfort zone.
out of the comfort zone, 100%, dude. Seek discomfort. That's what I want to do. And so, yeah, LA is the move for me, dude. At least right now. I want to. I just want to learn, dude, and I also want to chase my music and do some moves for me. The past like 3 years have been me putting myself on the back burner to survive and give everything to Calvin Sunday, which Calvin Sunday is also a part of me. So I guess it's me. I put half of myself, like Davey Legend. I put Davey Legend to the side so I could build Calvin Sunday, which is the other half of me. But now this is built up and is amazing, and I need to invest in Davey Legend. And I need to do that down in LA, dude. And I've been saying I want to move down to LA forever. I've always liked going down to LA. I love the vibe down there. But now it's just time to do it. It's time to do the scary thing. It's scary for sure, dude. I got to go and get some new jobs, meet new people, move away from all my safety nets, all my resources, and go to a new big city that's more expensive, where nobody knows me. But I'm honestly just so excited for it because it's more exciting than coming here. Everybody knows me, and it's like, okay, cool. I know I can get sessions. I'm, one of the best producers here in town. Cool. There's nothing to fight towards or fight for. It's like I want to go down there and be like the smallest fish ever, and be like, cool. I get to fight to try and be the biggest here. Like I get to do every day. I can grind and go back into like a 12-hour grind of trying to be the biggest, trying to be the best, and then trying to learn from the best.
Yeah.
So that I can. Make better music and just be a better artist.
You're pretty much going back into the same thing you were with Extra a few years ago, but just like
with X3 a few years ago, with Calvin Sunday starting, dude, I'm going back into that, and I think I'm just addicted to that. But I also I think that until you're in your late 30s, I mean, you're never too old, but I think that until you're really ready to settle down, you should always be grinding, bro. While you're young, you should be grinding. You should either be grinding or having just a ton of fun and not caring at all. You should have like one of the two. And I chose to just grind my ass off because I have the energy now. I've got the body to do it. I've got the time to do it. I don't have like debt or like a house or all these things that are tying me down. Like I can just do it. And so I want to do that as long as and maybe I'll become the biggest artist in the world, and then at that time I'll be like, I need to keep growing, and then I'll go into something else. I would love to go back into business. I love business. I would love to start some kind of business, probably not even centered around music, maybe centered around something else, and maybe starting a company, maybe starting like a little empire of companies or something. I would love to do that afterwards, but I just want to always keep growing until I'm ready to settle down. Always fight. That's what I'm doing.
That's the entrepreneur.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's well, entrepreneuring is, I think, super creative as well, and because you're creating something tangible. Music is tangible, but not really. You can't touch it, see it, hold it. You can just hear it and feel it, which is really important. You can't really feel the company. Maybe the really good ones you can, but companies is like you're creating something, and then it's also like it also affects a lot of people too. Music, you will need a team, and it will function like a company because people's jobs will depend on you as the artist and depend on the music doing good, because all those people will be employed by you to go on tour, to do graphic design, to do all these things. But with a company, it's like you really will be affecting a lot more people, because like if you're hiring people, that's going to be their job, and it matters a lot to them that it stays around and that it succeeds. Customers, as well, but it's a different level of tangibility, and it's just a different kind of creation. But I think it's still creation, it's still being creative, and so I love that. I'm addicted to that as well. I'm addicted to anything creative. Just creating stuff is my favorite.
Yeah, building it up from the ground up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fun, dude. It's so fun.
Yeah. What are some people you look up to? I know you mentioned what was his name?
Luke Hendrickson.
Luke Hendrickson, but besides like anyone else you look up to massively?
One of the guys who's helping mix my project, I look up to Matt Maynard.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the other guys I interned for at Bethel. He's like the only person I've ever met where like when he gets angry, he just laughs even more. Mm-hmm. And like he is just like the most happy person I ever met, and just joyful person. And
Wait, Matt Henderson?
No, Matt Maynard.
Okay.
Matt Maynard, and he was always hungry, and he was very inspiring because he came from Brazil. I don't know his story like super well, but from what I understand, he came here from Brazil with his wife, and they had just had a baby, and he interned for Luke and learned how to sound engineer, and he just grinded day and night. Mm-hmm. And then his wife paints, so both of them were in creative jobs, which in like everyone always tells you like those are, get away from those jobs, they're scary, like you're not gonna make any money. But they made it work, they made it happen, and they moved down to LA, and they survived and did really well. And then he's an amazing mixer now, and works on really crazy projects, and has an insane studio. And I look up to him for a lot of the reasons, practical ones like that, but also just how he exists in the world. Who else do I look up to? I look up to a lot of artists for different reasons. But I don't know any of them on a personal level, so it's mainly just creatively they inspire me. I don't know, I look up to Justin Word a lot, actually. You know Justin?
No.
He comes around. He's just a good dude. It's just he's an amazing friend. Mm-hmm. And he's been my friend since I worked at a coffee stand, Dutch Bros. And he used to come and sit there like every night when he got off work and just hang out with me until I closed. And every time I've ever needed anything, every time I've ever needed help, he's always been there. And that's just inspiring. He inspires me how like, and I look up to how good of a friend he is, and how much he cares, and I want to be like that. As well as like his life is a lot simpler. He's found what he likes to do, and he does it, and he's okay with it. And it's just interesting how much joy he has, even though he isn't like in the same world of like chasing after something like how I'm chasing after it. He's just content and happy with that, and makes the most of that, and invests his time into like the people around him and the people that he cares about. And that's what brings him the most joy. That's what he's passionate about, rather than like building something. It's like he's passionate about helping the people around him build what they love. So he inspires me a lot too. Yeah. And I look up to him a lot for that.
Yeah. Got any questions?
It's lit.
I guess as we like wrap this up or whatever, like what is the most important thing you've learned through it all?
The most important thing I've learned is just, it's like a stupid Justin Bieber song, like never say never, but also like, it's so stupid. But like never say never, don't limit yourself. Like really don't limit yourself. Because you can fucking do literally anything. And then just, I think actually it's better than that. I think just do it. For the fucking Nike logo.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, just start. Just go, just do. Don't overthink, don't wait, just do. Because, again, I said it earlier in the podcast too, I think that we perform extremely well and we honestly perform at our best and in superhuman ways when we're put under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And so create that pressure for yourself, put yourself in those situations, you will pull through. And even if it fails catastrophically, you'll at least get really good knowledge out of it and really good experience out of it. So just do. And that's what I continue doing. That's why I'm going to LA. I'm just doing it.
You're just
Not
doing it.
everything's lined up. Doesn't make the most sense. Why would I leave such an amazing studio? Why would I leave all my clients? Why would I leave a place where I'm comfortable, monetarily? Because I gotta do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's as in you. You gotta fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I am. Bro.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck yeah.
yes, sir.
It's like yes.
Thanks.
It's like after releasing that first one,
Yeah.
and then you're just gonna do the second one and you don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, looking back on your own music is the worst. It's the worst. You're just like, what the fuck? At a certain point, though, I look back and I'm like,
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on to something.
But like my first shit, like I thought that shit was so good, bro. I thought that shit was elite, and then it fucking came back, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, dude. No, it's bad. It's fucking bad. But it makes you feel better about where you're at now. Because it's like, oh wow, I grew. I must have grown. Yeah.
Things wouldn't be bad unless it was better.
Right. Exactly.
And I feel like it's always good, especially when I was younger, starting. I mean, I made my first song with Joey at his studio, and then my second one I got a Yeti mic, like a fucking garbage ass Yeti mic, and I just fucking started recording. It's like that same mindset and heart and mentality, just like, oh fuck, I just want to make music. I'm making music. I'm just having fun doing it, Like, I don't care if it's fucking shit or whatever. Like, I mean, I'm trying to make it good. That's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
That's how I felt like with the first podcast, because it was like we were doing it over a video call.
Discord.
Oh hell yeah!
And
Discord.
I had my gaming headset on, recording my audio, and he had his mic out.
That's the way, bro. Discord. Discord's lit.
Do the screen record on Discord.
Yes, dude. By any means necessary, bro.
Yeah. That's your word. Never say never.
Never say never, Justin Bieber. Just do it by Nike, and by any means necessary. Davey Legend.
Davey Legend. Fuck yeah, it was good having you on the podcast.
Dude, thanks for having me, brother.
Fuck yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Super good. Yeah.
We'll see y'all next time.